And hello to you, soul brothers and sisters, wherever you are, and welcome to another episode of the awakening journey, spiritual awakening journey. So, as I said before, I'll be having different guests so that they share with us their own awakening journey, and so that we put the pieces of the puzzle together so that you notice that we all have similar experiences, okay, so that we unite our stories. Uh, Today, I have a very special guest with me. As I told you earlier with the previous guest, in 2020, our navel chakra got activated and we started connecting with our spiritual soul family all over the world. And I had Lynn and then Michael. And now I have my friend Ramzi Cheety. Hello, Ramzi. How are you today?
Good, good. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me also earlier. So, Ramzi Cheety, ironically, I met him in a crisis I had last summer. I mean, just a few months ago, but it feels that we have known each other forever. And this is how it feels when you connect to your soul tribe. You feel that you are all like brothers and sisters, you have things in common and you understand each other. And this is what we are trying to share in these episodes. Thank you again, Ramzi. Okay. Now, before we begin, I'd like to begin today with we do a short intention before we begin. So I, Nadine, and Ramzi ask our angel and guides to be with us, to assist us in this recording so that we speak from the heart and truthfully, so that we spread as much love and light to all earth, to all the animal kingdom, and to all humanity. And so it is. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one.
Okay. So, Ramzi, walk us through would you like to introduce yourself? I'm going to include, guys, Ramzi's bio below in the YouTube with his contacts and links. So if you wish to contact him or anything. Ramzi, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience? I got introduced to him as a financial advisor because I had a financial supposedly crisis. Little did I know that Mr. Ramzi came to me and said, no, your problem is completely different. You have a blockage. Yeah, and he helped me with it, right?
Yeah, true. So what I do, I'm an intuitive healer. I'm an NLP practitioner. I do hypnosis to help people overcome their money blockage, emotional money blockage. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a director of finance, so I have my day job and my cape in the afternoon.
Yeah, and that's the story of all of us, people who are awakening. We have one bunch of skills that we do, and then another bunch of skills that, because we both are coaches, teachers, and healers, intuitive healers, let's say, if you want to sum up our stuff. Now, but
Yeah.
we did not begin our life journey like that. Just as he told you, Ramzi was a financial advisor. I was a designer for like many years, and then I became a university lecturer, and that was my life until we started seeing other things and wanting to learn other stuff. So I remind the viewers who just popped in, first of all, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video so that it becomes available to as many people as possible. Do share your comments below if you feel you want to share your story as well with us, you resonate with anything that we are saying. Okay, so as I said before, we start our life in our environment. There are certain belief systems and things. Everybody's doing this, so we gotta do the same, and we do it. That's what we are told. But then some instances in our life happen, coincidences or meetings or things that makes us, it's like our head is like that. And then we look up. It's like, what? there is something different. There's something else. So these weird events, could you start telling us about stories about your life? Tell us about your life, Ramzi.
Quick. So I was born in Lebanon. Then during the war, well, I was born Christian in the Christian area, so we were kind of secluded. During the war, we
exactly
moved.
like me. I am born in Lebanon in the Christian area as well, but I've never met Ramzi before in Lebanon.
Nope,
Yeah.
never.
Now he is in Canada. He is in Canada, and I am located in Turkey. So I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. And the coincidences are amazing, because I met someone over here online who's Lebanese also, and she asked me some question on how to do certain things. That was many years ago, and then she came back this time around. I saw we literally almost connected on a path to and from Lebanon this year. And she goes to me, let's do something together. And then she goes at 11 o'clock at night, she goes, I have a friend that needs help. You're the only person that can help her. Would you do that? And it's like, I say, yeah, sure, no problem. Give her my contacts. You connected, we connected quickly. Resolve your issue, and here we are today.
We solved the issue, and not just that. He never knew me. I never knew him. I just trusted him, and I offered him a session, and he accepted it, and he enjoyed it as well. It was an exchange. It was play. It was wonderful. So this is how we met, although we both were Lebanese. So let's go back now to your story, how it started. So you were in Lebanon, Christian background, and
And over time, of course, the war was beautiful, and I joined the Red Cross to help others. But I had this thing in me that just was against the regular religion, but the spirituality within was way too strong. So I didn't know where to go, but I was stuck in a box. And then I moved to Canada and was still stuck in a box, and I'm not sure where to go, you know? And then one day, got this idea of starting a spiritual cafe, just getting together with other people.
Could you give us a time frame, like how many years ago you started the spiritual cafe?
Just
Approximately.
maybe 15, 17 years ago.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, this is interesting. Let's do the cafe. So we did the cafe. And someone came and said, oh, there's a book you should read. It's called Conversations with God. It's with Neil Donald Walsh. He's the author of the book. Immediately, I judged it. Immediately, it's like conversations with God. God's gonna talk to somebody. Like, seriously, come on, guys. You know, I like the spiritual thing and the new age stuff, but this is pushing the envelope a bit.
Yeah, and this comes, let me just explain to the audience from our background. So in Lebanon, Christianity means, indoctrination, dogma, and also in the Muslim religions, indoctrination, dogma, that is God up there. Up there, you cannot reach him, and there is the rest of us. So this is how it usually is.
And we grow with fear.
With fear that God would punish us and do this. And when you talked about you were spiritual within, I've also had that. I've always felt a love to Jesus. When I was a kid, I would play with Jesus, you know. But then my mom would tell me God would punish you if you do this, you would go to hell and stuff like that. So this is the God. So when Ramzi found this book called Conversation with God, who is this imposture doing this and conversating with God? This is, I talked about it in previous videos, guys. I advise you to go step by step because this is a course. Go step by step. I talked about cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is whenever we have a concept in our mind, okay, and we are introduced with a new concept, and this new concept conflicts with whatever we know. So what happens? We refuse it, reject it at first. It's like, what is this? Blasphemy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm sorry for the parentheses, yeah?
No, it's all good. So I disregarded that message. Somebody else came after a week or so. Oh, you have to read this book. And I go, okay, could you please guys leave me alone with your books? And a week or so later on, a third person came and I said, okay, fine. You know what? It's time. get this book, read it,
Yeah.
and talk about it in the cafe and end it, you know. So I took the book, and I don't like to read that much. I'll be very honest. I like to read on like listening to audiobooks and stuff. But anyways, I picked up the book, and I couldn't put it down until I finished it.
Oh my God.
I literally sat all day long reading that book
All day. You read it in one day.
in one
Conversations
day.
with God, which are
Yeah.
supposed to be like really deep and difficult, and you finish it
Yes.
in one day.
In one day. Every word in there kind of resonated with me.
Okay, you're
And
gonna give us
now,
some examples because now we're getting
yeah.
excited about it. What's in this book? Not the whole book. I mean, like,
And it actually shattered my beliefs.
yeah, yeah.
And the key point that I can give you out of this book is that God is a joker.
Huh?
He loves us. We joke together. There's no punishment. You know, it's like if you have children and your kid spills the milk in the morning, you don't go put them in hell and burn them till eternity. You actually give them a kiss and tell them, hey, wash it next time, and you clean up the mess, and that's the end of it.
That's
So why
correct.
should God be different?
Yes.
And that kind of like struck me.
Aha. If he is a father, a loving
Yes.
father, and they tell us he loves us, they tell us
Yeah.
he loves us, but he punishes us. This conflict is within, and we felt it since we were young. There was something
Yes.
wrong. Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful,
Absolutely.
Ramzi. Wonderful.
Yes. So it brought me to my knees, I'll be very honest, and I had a depression out of that because
Depression.
everything it's
It is the dark night of the soul.
an
It's
ident
so, yes,
yes, an identity crisis.
crisis,
This is what it is.
identity crisis. Yeah.
And I just I didn't know where to go because now everything is not true.
Yeah.
Nothing is true.
So once we do the cognitive dissonance, I'm gonna go with the steps. Cognitive
Yeah.
dissonance. First, I refuse it. Then the signs tell me, let's go do it. We do it. We read. It resonates with our heart because Ramzi said, as a kid, he was spiritual. He was at the Red Cross, which means he had this love within, love for humanity, love for helping. And they tell us God is love. And then he reads this book, and it is so fabulous, and it is the total opposite of everything we have been told and the indoctrinations and the belief system in our mind. So this is a total collapse of the identity that I was, the Christian believer who believed all that. So I remove all this data from my mind, and then it's a collapse. It's like in the tarot, it's the tower. It's the tower moment, the collapse. I'm throwing the old, and we need this transition to process the new. I mean, I have been lied to all my life. This is the feeling that I have been, yeah. So, and you,
It's the feeling. It's not a good feeling,
it's
by the
not a
way.
good
Let me
feeling.
tell you, no.
No, not at all, not at all, not at all. Okay, okay. I was blind all my life. So, and because he's talking 15 years ago. So, I mean, he lived the indoctrinations for a prolonged period of time.
Very long time. Yes. And I did have connections. I don't want to say through spirit, but through the spiritual world, I had a connections with others. So we were during the war. Of course, we didn't have telephone at that time. There were no internet, nothing. There's no connection to the outside world.
We went back to his younger age, to Ramzi's younger age, okay? Before the spiritual cafe.
And then my grandfather passed away in England, and we didn't know about it. But I mourned for 3 nights, crying because he left, and I didn't know what was happening. And I go, okay, it's just, you know, you can't tell anybody, just be quiet and just let it go and let it pass. And then we found out 6 months later when the telephones were back in online and stuff like that. So there was this from before, but it was kind of like covered, masked. You can't show it. You can't talk about it because it's against religion. So it was there. And I believe that everyone has it, but we kind of mask it, or we are afraid of it. So we just push it aside.
Because everybody is saying this is the truth, and you cannot come up and say, no, everyone is saying this is the truth. These are the words of God. So yeah, so you collapsed. How could you describe this situation of the identity crisis? How long did it last?
To be honest with you, I don't know how long it lasted, but it was profound. It was profound.
Profound.
It was, I didn't exist anymore. Imagine that.
The old you,
The old me
the indoctrinated you, the belief
died.
system died. So you were mourning. You were mourning the
Yes.
old identity, preparing for the new. But what should the new be? That's the
I don't
question.
know.
Haha.
So I went through a couple of weeks of that, and then somebody came to tell me it's funny how how life is ready for you. You don't have to do anything. Life is ready for you. It just gives you the signs.
Mm.
So a couple of weeks later, somebody said, "Oh, maybe you should do Reiki." I had no idea what Reiki was. I go, "What the hell is this?" Oh, go buy a. So I bought a book and I read it, and I was intrigued.
Ah.
And now, where do I study it? I don't know. So, anyways, life aligned certain things for me, and I met this person who teaches it.
So we started with this book, Conversation with God,
Yeah.
Identity Crisis. Who am I? I'm not that old person anymore, the indoctrinated, but who should I be?
Yeah.
Then the universe comes and gives us these. I talked about these in previous videos, guys. Please watch the videos. They are called synchronicities. Okay, when you have like providence, people appear out of nowhere and show you this Reiki book, and then how do I study this? Ramzi asked the question, and he had the deep desire in his heart, like, how do I study this? And then the teacher appeared. And
Yes.
so you started studying Reiki.
So I did Reiki level 1, 2,
Ah,
3, 4. I became a master, and I didn't like the word master because it brought me back to religion. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hierarchy, and I
Hierarchy.
don't.
Mm,
No, we're all equal. I don't believe in
yes,
mastery of
yes,
anything.
yes.
So, and while doing this, I started getting visions. So while I'm working on
Mm.
someone, I actually see what the issue is, the emotional issue,
Visions in your mind, right?
vision in my mind.
We are talking, guys, here. We'll talk about that maybe
Yeah.
later, okay?
So we moved from that, and then I got, imagine taking a bucket of water into the desert and throwing it on the ground. It just disappears immediately. You need
Mm,
more.
mm,
So I was
mm.
like, more. So I studied, I did polarity. I did, what do you call it? Reconnective healing. I went to New York to do that. I did something else. More people were coming, giving me more, and I would. So
Because
while
your soul was thirsty for more. Show me more. I want
yes,
to know more. I want to know more. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
was a sponge
yeah,
getting everything in,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
from there, Eckhart Tolle came around.
Yes, he came around for me too. Do you remember which year?
I don't recall, but his voice is
Soothing.
monotone,
Yeah,
and
but yeah.
not everybody understands him.
Mm.
So
No, he's very easy though.
because he changes the terminologies, so you
He
have to
uses.
understand the terminology, and then you
Mm.
ease into it. So
Mm,
at the beginning, there's this like, okay, what is he talking about?
mm.
So I found him on YouTube
Me
because, like I
too.
said, I'm not too interested in reading. So I
Mm,
found the book on YouTube, and for almost 5 6 months, I remember going on a European trip. I went to Paris, then to Spain, then to London. Throughout this 3 4 week journey, he was in my ears
mm,
day and night,
mm,
to a
mm.
point where I started dreaming of discussing those things with him. That's how bad it got.
Mm.
So, because what happens with these books is it's very interesting. You read it the first time, you go, oh my God, there's so many nuggets in there. And then you work on yourself and you go, yeah, I'm there. And then you read it again and you see, how did I miss these things?
Yes,
Because
yes, yes, yes.
you weren't ready for them.
You weren't ready to see them yet. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And may I have a parenthesis? Eckhart Tolle, do you know that he takes a lot from Anthony de Mello? He
No, no.
literally takes his word. I have his book here. It's maybe
Okay.
the only book that I brought with me. He takes literally even his examples But Anthony de Mello was too straightforward and poof, boom. And he was a psychotherapist and a Jesuit priest. The man is a
Oh,
genius. I gotta send you some link for that. So, and he simplifies it. He had the art of simplifying a lot. And Anthony de Mello, I'm sorry, Eckhart Tolle, I tell you, I had bought his book like 10 years ago, The Power of Now, and it was in my library. I just read a few pages. The syntax was complex for me, so and I kept it because his syntax wasn't that great. It's translated from German and so on. But then years after, in 2018, I started listening to him on audio. So, so you see, can we have a time from the time you started the Reiki until you reached the Eckhart Tolle? How many months or years did that take? A sort of frame, approximate frame.
I would say a couple of years.
Yes, yes. Okay, very good.
Couple of
So,
years. Because
so
I was thirsty for information. So I
yes,
would
yes, yes,
go
yes,
and
yes,
get
yes,
info
yes,
from
yes.
everywhere
Yeah,
until
yeah,
I found him the first time and I dropped him and
yeah,
then went back to him.
yeah.
And I started to change
And
and slowly,
so you
slowly.
had question for Eckhart Tolle in your mind. I'm sorry, I interrupted you
Yeah.
here. Did you want to say something about that?
Questions to Eckhart. I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
You had questions in your mind. You would listen to him day and night, and you would like have conversations with him in his
Yes.
mind, in your
Yes.
mind.
I
Yeah.
would have conversations and I would have it even during my sleep
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
on how to silence the mind, although he puts it very simple,
Mm.
and how to break this. And I still couldn't, because I was building the foundation to
Yes,
get to that
yes,
point.
yes, yes. And it
And
cannot
the
be
book,
forced. It cannot be forced.
exactly, exactly. So that's why I believe I was led to read that book multiple times
Mm,
and build slowly on the
mm, mm,
knowledge.
mm.
And of course, it's not about knowledge, it's about working on yourself.
Exactly. And whenever you are ready, whenever you
Yes.
are ready for the next step. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And by the way, when you're ready, the teacher will come. My teachers showed up when I was ready for them. And now Eckhart got promoted into something else, and I'm
Yeah.
doing my own thing. So it's a beautiful journey.
And
Beautiful
then,
journey.
so after that, you started working on stillness, stilling
Yes.
yourself and the energy, and you were seeing visions. So what else
Uh,
also happened?
and then what happened is that I did a couple of what do you call it? I had a vision of me standing up on stage with 200 plus people there and talking. I wanted to be the Eckhart, the catalyst for others.
Mm, mm, mm,
And my vision came to fruition in 2019 before COVID.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I did two seminars, one in Ottawa, one in Montreal, for
Related to
total.
spirituality? Related to
Yeah, yeah.
spirituality? Okay, okay.
So that was a beautiful thing. And then COVID came and put everything on hold. And as you know, everything came to a halt in 2019.
And
Yeah.
I want to talk about two things. Now, with the
Yeah.
first, before COVID, I'll talk about COVID. Now, we had the identity crisis, then the search for a new identity, which you did because you were so thirsty like a sponge and you were enjoying. Why was Ramzi enjoying, my friends? Because it resonated with his heart. His heart
Mm.
was feeling there is truth in whatever I am feeling, and there was no longer this indoctrination because he was distant from it, sort of. Now the new identity that you have become, because you have become a new identity,
Yes.
so what happened to the old? Did something fall? Did you have to let go of certain stuff, certain belief? Because when we change, the reality changes somehow. Did you have to let go of certain things?
I didn't have to let go of anything. They all fell off
They fell off.
because I was not hanging on to them anymore.
Yes, yes, this is
See,
wonderful. This is wonderful. Yeah.
the core base of Christianity is love, and that I never lost.
Mm, mm,
I
mm,
still keep it with me
mhm,
because it is a core base for
mm,
whatever I do.
mm,
And everything else, the additions within the box of religion, that all fell off. It fell off on its own, and slowly, I started to distance, but I'm still connected to
Okay.
the old. So my new identity is based on the love of the old self.
Mm. Is based on the love of the old self, but you add the new to it in a harmonious way.
Yes.
Okay, so in the new things you have learned, did you find that they conflict with the true essence of what Jesus was trying to tell us?
No,
Not at all.
not a bit. Not a
Not
bit.
a bit, not a bit, not a bit, because if we read the Bible again and again, it talks to us at a very, very deep level.
Yes.
Isn't that true?
The problem with what happens is the interpretation that people puts on it based on their issues
Mm,
is what brought us to this spot.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, so if we take the interpretations out and we go read the Bible, like you said, you'll find yourself within it,
Yes.
and everything that you do is within it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
That
know,
is true. And I keep quoting from the Bible and I link it with the new things that I learned. They make more sense. Uh, um, Jesus came yesterday. I posted a quote from someone, and there was Gibran Khalil Gibran. He said
yeah,
that he came to make a revolution. He did not came to create a religion, not at all.
no,
And I love how he was a rebellious character. You know, I imagine him so full of love, so full of love, and yet at the same time strong, powerful, and firm. You know, he would say the truth as it is. So he would always, almost all the time, he would do his miracles, perform them on the Sabbath. I mean, you see, he says, I came to give you the new. And Anthony De Mello talks about Jesus. You're going to love this book. I'll send you a link. I'm bringing the good news. The good news. Drop the old, drop the programming. He was telling them, drop the programming. You don't have to wash your hands, or I don't know what to do, this and that and that. So when we start looking for answers, as we just said, sorry, it's telling me we have 10 minutes. And when we add up the new information and we go back to spirituality, the Bible, or even the Quran, or even Buddhism, or whatever, we will understand them differently and we will find that they all fit in together. Correct?
and Jesus was an energy healer, by the way.
Yes, yes, yes. He
He was
was
a
an energy.
strong energy healer. His focus was so intense
Yeah.
that it fixed the issue immediately.
He actually, yes, his love, his
Yeah,
connection to divine source, his hands would shine with light when he did it. It was,
yeah,
I want this from my heart and with all my mind and connected to divine source and
yeah.
all there is. So that is wonderful. His message, he tells us in the Bible, and I used to ask these questions, Ramzi. In Matthew, he says, you are the healers of the earth. You are the light of the earth. And I would always ask myself, who is he talking to? His disciples? Is he talking to us? Why is he saying we are the healers? Why is he saying we are the light of the world? You know, you cannot just read these
Yeah.
without asking questions. If you are deep in this, there is a difference between being religious and being spiritual. Could you give us your opinion about that?
Spirituality is a free flow,
Hmm.
allowing nature to take you where you're supposed to go. Spirituality is like a river. You can never swim upstream. You can if you want to. You get
Swim, yeah,
tired,
yeah. Hmm.
but you have to flow with it. And when you flow with it, everything comes with ease.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even if you have challenges, your perception of the challenge is different because you know you are
Absolutely.
learning something out of it. Yeah.
So instead of looking at it as a challenge, oh my God, you look at it as how am I going to do something different to overcome this obstacle
Mm.
and use it as a base for my education, my growth, or whatever it is that you want. and it changes your perception, and it becomes less of a challenge.
And spirituality does not mean that we have to throw away God or Jesus
No.
or whatever, but we need to remove away the definitions that they have given them, because they have made them like characters on a theater, like the scary God that punishes, shames, and guilt. Okay, guys, let me tell you, if any of your friends, if I come and I shame you and guilt you, would you like even speak to me? Would you even love me back? You understand? Why would I love back a God who does that to me? So this did not resonate to our heart. And this was a call for us to go and look deeper. So the religion is, if you want, the way I see it, what we must, what we should, it's this, conditioning, and it's not, it's like in religion and in how you should live your life. They make religion a way of how you should do with your life. I mean, if you do charity, you're a good person. If you don't do, you're not a good person, and it has nothing to do with your heart. You might be doing charity and you're not a good person. You're just doing it as if this God cannot feel what we feel. I don't know what image, what statue they have created of this God, but what I'm trying to say in my series, Spiritual Awakening Journey, remembering who we are, who this divine source is, who Jesus is, and all that is. And we will continue this in part 2 with Ramzi. We go in depth. But now, my final question, Ramzi, to you. All this journey, the crisis, identity crisis, and this going in search of this new identity and so on, how do you feel about it?
Oh, I
What
wouldn't change anything.
you wouldn't
It
change.
is one beautiful roller coaster. With its ups and downs, it was beautiful at every turn and every drop. And I wouldn't change anything. And I believe that I am at a level right now which makes me ready for my next journey. Whatever it is that is coming, I am ready for it. And I'm ready for it. And oh, sorry, I just want to go back a bit. The whole journey, it doesn't only affect you from a spiritual point of view when you go talk to God or talk to the spirit. It affects every part of your life. It affects your work, the people you work with, how you deal with certain things, your friends, your family, and a whole society that you're around with.
Everything, your choice of how to get dressed, the friends you want to have, the food you want to eat, the places you want to go. Suddenly you don't want to go out every night and boom boom and go visit these people every day, and you just want to do things from the heart.
Yeah.
You want to do them from the heart. And so this new identity is not at all easy. It is not for the faint-hearted. It
No.
requires courage to drop things off, because we will go into tests of dropping the dark night of the soul and shedding the old and finding the new, shedding the old and finding another new and expanding. It is a very difficult journey, but it is a fantastic journey. Look at it as if you were climbing a mountain and the Alps or something. You're climbing, you're exhausted, you're sweating, you're thirsty, and then, but then you reach the summit. Although in this journey, there is no reaching, it never ends, it expands and expands. You reach the summit, let's say, and what a fantastic view. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely.
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 So for this session, we got to know Ramzi a little bit more. In our next episode, Ramzi and I will dive deeper into new concepts, into what's happening on Earth now. What is this spirituality we are talking about? Again, I remind you, my friends, you can comment below if you want to share your own experiences, if you resonate with our stories. Please like and subscribe so that you make the video available to as many people as possible. If you want to know more about Ramzi, read the information below. Thank you, Ramzi, and see you
Thank you.
in episode 2.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so